being here today. I'm going to start by reading the first paragraph of lesson 286. So if you'd all get comfortable wherever you are and have your feet flat on the floor, if that's comfortable for you, and your hands resting on your thighs with your palms up in a receiving position. And take a deep breath. Let it out. Father, how still today. How quietly do all things fall in place. This is the day that has been chosen as the time in which I come to understand the lesson that there is no need that I do anything. In you is every choice already made. In you has every conflict been resolved. In you is everything I hope to find already given me. Your peace is mine. My heart is quiet and my mind at rest. Your love is heaven and your love is mine.
Yeah.
And I just love that. So if you could all come back and turn your attention to lesson 77, I am entitled to miracles. So can I ask Peter and Nanette to share reading? Are you both willing to read? Okay, Peter, if you would start with the first paragraph and then Nanette, you do the second and then keep switching. Okay.
All right, lesson 77, I am entitled to miracles. You are entitled to miracles because of what you are. You will receive miracles because of what God is. And you will offer miracles because you are one with God. Again, how simple is salvation? It is merely a statement of your true identity. It is that we will celebrate today. It is this that we will celebrate today.
Your claim to miracles does not lie in your illusions about yourself. It does not depend on any magical powers you have ascribed to yourself, nor on any of the rituals you have devised. It is inherent in the truth of what you are. It is implicit in what God your Father is. It was ensured in your creation and guaranteed by the laws of God.
Today, we will claim the miracles which are your right, since they belong to you. You have been promised full release from the world you made. You have been assured that the kingdom of God is within you and can never be lost. We ask no more than what belongs to us in truth. Today, however, we will also make sure that we will not content ourselves with less.
Begin the longer practice periods by telling yourself quite confidently that you are entitled to miracles. Close your eyes. Remind yourself that you are asking only for what is rightfully yours. Remind yourself also that miracles are never taken from one and given to another, and that in asking for your rights, you are upholding the rights of everyone. Miracles do not obey the laws of this world. They merely follow from the laws of God.
After this brief introductory phase, wait quietly for the assurance that your request is granted. You have asked for the salvation of the world and for your own. You have requested that you be given the means by which this is accomplished. You cannot fail to be assured in this. You are but asking that the will of God be done.
In doing this, you do not really ask for anything. You state a fact that cannot be denied. The Holy Spirit cannot but ensure you that your request is granted. The fact that you accepted must be so. There is no room for doubt and uncertainty today. We are asking a real question at last. The answer is a simple statement of a simple fact. You will receive the assurance that you seek.
Our shorter practice periods will be frequent and will also be devoted to a reminder of a simple fact. Tell yourself often today, I am entitled to miracles. Ask for them whenever a situation arises in which they are called for. You will recognize these situations. And since you are not relying on yourself to find the miracle, you are fully entitled to receive it whenever you ask.
Remember, too, not to be satisfied with less than the perfect answer. Be quiet, be quick to tell yourself, should you be tempted, I will not trade miracles for grievances. I want only what belongs to me. God has established miracles as my right.
Amen to that. Thank you so much for reading that for us, Nanette and Peter. Do either one of you have any thoughts about this lesson that you'd like to share?
I have a couple.
Yeah.
Two things that jump out right at the end there. He is, I will not trade miracles for grievances. So basically, the way I read this, and there's another lesson, I think right after this. He's explaining to us that we're either choosing a miracle or a grievance. They're kind of set up. It's the choice between the right mind and the wrong mind, between the ego and the Holy Spirit. He does say that miracles should be natural, in the first 50 miracle principles. And yet to us, it seems like so out there. And yet it's only because, for me at least, I recognize that I often go for the judgment or the grievance or the resentment, as opposed to being open to the idea that, or to blessing whatever's coming up in that situation. And that's been my practice lately, is to bless as much as I can remember to. And the other one is in paragraph 2. He says, your claim to miracles does not lie in your illusions about yourself. It does not depend on any magical powers you may have ascribed to yourself. So I periodically try to walk on water and stuff like that. And, usually don't make it very far. And I can see I'm coming from that place of magic. Like I have some kind of magical powers to overcome the laws of gravity or whatever seems to be following me around in this world. So he's saying quite clearly here, it has nothing to do with any of that. Thank you.
Mm.
Thank you. Okay. So does anyone else have any thoughts about this lesson?
Yeah. It was just so packed in there. Wow. I've been studying the 50 Miracle Principles. There's a book It's sort of a, I don't know, it's a dark pink. To me, it's dark pink. It's by Ken Wapnick. It's 50 Miracle Principles. And I've been going through that. And, the one principle in there is, miracles is our right. Purification is necessary. So the miracle is the undoing of the perceptions, the concepts, the breaking apart of egoic tendencies, the obstacles to love's presence. But there's also in here, it's, as Peter just shared, does not depend on any magical powers I've ascribed to anything. It was, so like, okay, so powerless at this dualistic level. But this particular lesson is like, I can't be a little pregnant. Either I am or I'm not. There's just no in between with that. And it's interesting because it's so on point with right here, right now, where my life is. And I had a conversation this morning, and it was exactly about where do I stand? I'm walking through something in this appearing world, and there are appearing doctors involved. And I had even said to this doctor I was working with a couple of weeks ago, and he said something, and I said, I put my hand up like this, and I said, thank you for that information. I'm going to walk by faith, and I trust. I'm not going to go into the dynamics of everything, but miracles abound. My life is a miracle. Breath is a miracle. And I stand in that radiance of light. And it doesn't mean, it's talking about magic in a sense that that's going to do anything. It doesn't mean I wouldn't drink water or that I wouldn't eat a meal. Those things we can do. We can take an aspirin if we need to, or we'll take a Curamed. We'll go through with turmeric, whatever. Is that I'm not going to ascribe to it that that's healing. It's just part of this dualistic nature while resting on an inward posture of non-duality. There's only God. And I am walking, I'm not going to deny that part of what's happening is there's a fatigue going on. But in that fatigue, I use it to be with God, to rest in that radiance of Christ that I am. And so it's always divine alchemy, uncover, discover, discard, and forgive every second. Rising above the dualistic nature of this world. What a journey. Yeah. Without a distance. That's enough out of me. Thank you.
Thank you, Nanette. And I would like to ask all of you, what do you think he means when he says it does not depend on any magical powers you've ascribed to yourself? What do you think he means by those magical powers? What magical powers do we ascribe to ourselves? What do you guys think about that? Megan.
I will try to answer that the best I can. I was going to say something, which is that I sometimes sit here alone thinking, I just wish somebody would show up in my life. And, and then I realize that I'm not going out to go meet people. And there's probably other people wishing that people would show up in their lives. And so for me, the miracle is that everybody is seeking companionship, that we don't do this alone, that is the miracle. The miracle is we need connection, that no matter how alone we feel, that we're all traveling the same path, no matter how unlike each other we seem when we look at each other. There's a Christ imbued in each person, the seed of Christ in everyone. And that is the wondrous miracle. So when I start trying to think about fake miracles or illusion of I'm wishing things to happen, I realize, wait, but it's already said that I can just go out and join with people, and that's my choice. And so in that way, I've been choosing, rather, instead of magically saying I want people to appear, I go, well, then I will go places where I'll call somebody and then they can come to me. But the courses told me connection is really important, that just reading the book is great, but connection is the important part, because together we find God. Together we see the Christ in others. Together we forgive. But if we're just alone, then we're apart from that. Thanks.
Thank you, Megan. Thank you. Peter.
Yeah, I kind of alluded to it earlier. I think magic is anything that makes the world real, in a sense, and it's anything that I use to overcome the world that I perceive as outside of me. So when I try to walk on water, I'm trying to overcome the laws of gravity, for instance. But there are no laws of gravity. That's all the part of the projection. So anything that we ascribe power to that seems to be outside of us, I think would qualify. And whether it's trying to manifest a relationship, or trying to manifest money in the bank, or trying to overcome an illness through what the Course says non-creative means, ascribing power to some kind of medicine or some kind of tarot cards or astrology, or whatever it is that we do. I think in terms of trying to manifest a miracle, that's what he's referring to here. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Kim.
Hey, I think it's kind of the one I'm going to bring up that I know I've done in the past and still do is kind of embedded in the things y'all have talked about already, but it's this concept of bartering or of trading. If I do X, Y, and Z, I pray every morning, I have this checklist of things that I promise I will do, then in exchange for that, good will come or whatever, right? Just this concept, to me, that feels like me believing in magic. I have a wand, and if I just check all the boxes, something will happen. And I'm old enough and been doing this long enough to where I know now that spiritual achievement and understanding is very paradoxical. I mean, I don't even know how to describe how, when I really truly do get something new and enlightening, I didn't work at it. It like happens when I've released. And so, all the energy that I've spent throughout my life bartering and trading and promising and waiting for, God to keep up his end of the bargain, that's one of the magics that I've believed in.
Uh-huh. Subscribe to yourself. Thank you. Thank you, Kim. That was great. Megan.
I was going to say that a lot of times I think I've allowed myself to believe negative things about that when people say things about me, or have in the past, or when I was a child or something, that I've allowed myself to agree or be indignant or respond. And I think a lot of my coursework has been undoing the belief that I am not perfect the way I was made. And in seeing that, I'm realizing that I have innate gifts that when I allow myself to be myself, and I no longer have these walls up to defend against any impressions people have gotten about me. And I become more able to become specifically, I don't know, I'm more able to have all the talents that I possess, that God imbued this body, this incarnation with, that say some people around me don't have. They have their own individual abilities that I don't have. And I feel more assured that it's miraculous in that now I get to share all of me versus only the part of me that I thought was okay to share. And so I think sometimes recognizing there are no small miracles and it's all illusion, really realizing that we are all miracles. And once we realize that we are all miracles and we let the illusion go down, we get to see just how wondrous every one of us are and how we have so much to contribute to each other. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, Megan. Thank you. Nanette.
Wow, it's just coming to me. Well, the course talks about, the magic bullets in the lesson, but also I think it's in the teacher's manual, that if someone is too fearful to accept the direct, just to accept direct healing, so to speak, or accept that miracle that already is, that they may use a magic bullet. And it also talks about that some may not be able to open up and receive because it would be too fearful to the mind, So, the course covers all of that, all these questions, right? So any of these things that I think, what really is the cure? It's not the thing of the finite. Nothing is. And it was coming to my spirit from the metaphysically how I see scriptures and how the stories speak to my soul. The story about the woman who had a flow of blood. I think it was for like 12, 13 years. She had a flow of blood. And she kept telling herself, all I have to do is touch the hem of Jesus's garment. Just got to touch his garment. Just touch it and I'll be healed. Well, she finally gets to him and the garment, touches his garment, and Jesus felt energy go out, right? As the story is depicted. And then she confesses to him, I touched your garment. And what does he say to her? He doesn't say, oh, well, you touched my garment. That's what made you better. Yeah, no. And he's saying the same thing here. He's saying the same thing. Don't look to me, because really, for me, when I experience the scriptures, that's what he was saying. Don't look to me as if I'm some magic bullet for y'all. He's saying, wait a minute, when you see me as you are me. It's really, that was the point. So I just think that's really powerful. And he's coming back here and he's coming back around saying the same thing. Your faith made you well. Your faith made you well. Hallelujah. Thank you for that.
Yeah. Thank you, Nanette. Yeah, I don't remember if that it really is in the Bible. A lot of times there's expressions that are that are said, or it's in the Bible. But if you have the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you could say to that mountain, move, and it would move. And I think it's in that same genre. Our faith could literally move mountains if we just, knew how to access that faith. So thank you very much for that. So anyone else like to comment on any of that?
Raise my hand.
Yes. Oh, Maggie.
I'm raising my hand. Can you all hear me okay? Okay. So the sentence that we were focused on just now is about, does not depend on any magical powers you have ascribed to yourself. And the second part is, and on any rituals that you have devised. And I just wanted to just share that this trip for me has been, there's been a lot of intention that I've brought with me into this trip to really just let it be part of my practice. And one of the things that I felt really inspired to let it be part of my practice with is about letting a lot of the daily rituals that I constantly following that I prescribed to myself, like I let them just drop away and just let myself experience what it's like to not do all the things that I believe that I need to do this or else I won't feel good. Like I need to take this supplement or I won't feel good. I need to go to bed at this time or else I get this much sleep or I won't have energy. And it's not to say that, we shouldn't take supplements, of course, or that we shouldn't get a certain amount of sleep. And I very well may even go back home and return to some or all of those rituals. I'll take that on guidance, but it's just been a really helpful lesson to get to see while I've been here that I let all of those things drop away and I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm actually running on very little sleep because I just do not sleep well when I'm in a new and different place. And I didn't take my supplements with me. I didn't bring things with me that I do on a daily basis that I, really, really do when I'm at home on guidance. But it's just been a really helpful experience to get to see how those things really are just something that I've told myself that this is what I need. And I'm getting to have a beautiful experience of seeing while here that I can be okay, even in ways feeling better than I feel when I'm at home. And so I just wish to share that all with you. Thank you. Yay. That sounds like I get to hug you.
Oh, that's sweet.
Another hand.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Johanna and then Megan.
Yeah, the other thing that came to mind when you asked the question, that we have magic that we have ascribed to ourselves.
Yeah, magical powers.
Powers. I was thinking immediately of assessments we make of ourselves. At least I do. Maybe you guys don't. Like, for instance, I'm always quick to do this or that, or I'm above. I'm intelligent above the average, or I'm really good at sports. I mean, those types of things, and we use those things to define ourselves, and they don't. So, what defines us who we really are? We are the Son of God, and we have available to us all the powers of God, and that includes all those little abilities and aptitudes that we define people by. It includes them all.
Yeah.
And I suppose when we do hone in on a certain aptitude or a talent, that's just a little foretaste of what's in store for us.
Right.
And even that, even though it makes us feel good and it makes other people feel good, it's just a foretaste. It's not who we are.
Yes, I agree.
So that's just what I wanted to add.
Thank you. Thank you. And Megan.
I kind of forgot what I was going to say, but I did want to say that a friend asked me for advice, and I said, they said, what would you do if you had to deal with this? And so I gave them my advice, and they said, really, you think I can do that? And I said, no, I know I can do it. I have no idea whether you're able to do what I'm telling you to or not. Anyway, the thing is that I have total faith in my abilities and what I am capable of doing, how much I let go, what I the things that I dropped, the illusions that I've dropped. But whether I give that advice to another person and if they can use that in the way that I would use it, I have no understanding whatsoever. But I did want to also say to Maggie, I'm so glad we talked last week about your rituals when you were going out there, because now I'm really quite interested in possibly just shaking up my routine and going somewhere for a day and just allowing things to happen as they will, versus staying here and being in, what is it, not indoctrinated, just stuck in my routine. But I think it would be nice. Thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you, Megan. Yes, that's absolutely right. Peter.
Yeah, I appreciate the conversation. Thank you, Maggie, for that, because I use supplements and I try to get a certain amount of sleep, like most of us. And the thing I want to say is what Nanette alluded to earlier. The course is very clear, the teacher's manual, that the use of magic is not evil. So this is not about making ourselves wrong.
Right.
It's actually more important for me to forgive myself for using magic than to not use the magic. If that makes any sense, because I'm not practicing the course. And so whatever we need, and Ken Wapnick used to stress this a lot too, whatever you need to get through the day, it's okay. Just know that there's something bigger going on there, And so if you need medication, if you need supplements, you need so many hours of sleep like me, you just go with that. Don't make yourself wrong for that. I'm saying that mostly for my benefit. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Peter. I think that's for everybody's benefit. Truly.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything they want to share? Okay, so, what? Okay, Eileen?
In paragraph 4, I just have to say this is just so enlightening to me. The statement, rightfully yours. All miracles, I get miracles, Megan get miracles, everybody does. Oftentimes I judge myself and say, I don't deserve them. And I think that comes from, I don't mean to say it, but our Christian raising, and I'm not against it, but it's just our mindset that we're not worthy of miracles. And this opens the door, like so much light comes in when we are rightfully yours. The miracles, they're here for us, every one of us, not just Eileen, but everyone. So thank you for letting me share this.
Oh, that was great. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate that. Got lots of hearts.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe go back to reading.
Okay. So, want me to reread paragraph 1?
Yeah, go paragraph.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to read paragraph 1. You are entitled to miracles because of what you are. You will receive miracles because of what God is. And you will offer miracles because you are one with God. Again, how simple is salvation? It is merely a statement of your true identity. It is this that we will celebrate today. Does anyone have anything they want to add to that, or does it bring up anything for any of you? What does it mean to offer a miracle? Megan.
I just like the idea of celebrating. It's like,
Yeah.
it seems like we need a reason to celebrate, and I think sometimes you just just the idea of celebrating the fact that we're living, breathing, things are going okay. They're I'm not dying. I am doing well. Things are moving along. But I like the idea of celebrating today, and that I don't need to do anything because I am entitled to the miracles because of what I am, and
Yeah.
because I receive them because of what God is. So I like the idea that I get to celebrate that every day if I wish to. I can celebrate that.
Thank you, Megan. I can barely see your little yellow hand next to your window, but Nanette.
Okay, hey family. What was coming to me and looking at this, more deeply and kind of just having it just sort of wash in and get downloaded here, because every time, there's always a new download. It's just, again, uncompromising in the non-dual sense, not two, just one, not two. Look at what I'm not, so what I am becomes available. And that's the purification. Purification. Miracles is our right. They're organic, they're natural, and purification is necessary. So for me, that is, that you will receive miracles because of what God is. God is, and we cease to speak. So it's the non-dual, resting in the non-dual truth, looking at what that's my just an ongoing, looking at what I'm not that. And what I am becomes available, and there is God is, and I cease to speak. And, the shift out of the two-ness into the oneness. Hope that made sense for somebody.
Oh, it does, it does. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Ruth.
Rich.
Ruth.
Oh, Ruth. Ruth?
Ruth.
It's Rich. No, it's Ray. It's Ruth.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm legally blind, and so I'll just raise my hand like that if that's okay.
Sure.
So grateful for this group. This is my third or fourth time joining. I just wanted to say thank you. And so yes, thank you so much. And I wanted to share, just listening to you guys, this feels so healing to me, and it feels everybody's so miracle minded here in this group. So I just wanted to thank you. But I wanted to offer something that might, just want to unpack it a little bit, that might be helpful. My mom was super sick a couple of years ago. I'm doing the course for a little while. And so I was trying to offer miracles to my mother when she was so very sick. And so like had back surgery and was in a lot of pain. I was having to carry her to the bathroom. And one of the things that I was reminded to do in that moment, in those very tough moments when she was just, very, calling out for help, was I offered her the miracle to remind her that she was the Christ. And so in my mind, which is where that thought of the miracle is, I just kept telling her, of course, I didn't say it verbally because I think she might have smacked me, but I just kept saying, you are the Christ, and I offer you this. And so it not only helped, I think, me in that moment, but I think it also was reminding her. So I was being blessed by having the miracle, receiving that from source, and also being able to express that to her in my mind. And I know that that was working. And of course, I wasn't in charge of that. The Holy Spirit is, but I just was really very active in my mind to choosing that miracle for myself and my mom as one. So I just wanted to offer that, and thank you for letting me share.
Oh, thank you for sharing. That was beautiful. Thank you. Rich.
All right. On paragraph 1 was read. I'm looking at the whole lesson, and strong words. Entitled. Entitled has to do with inherent. I mean, these are strong words. I notice here how the lesson ends there, because I know we've done a lot talk about grievances, how we should have no grievances, and and that sentence comes in again at the end, and grievance is a strong word also. I am deprived of nothing has to be the belief, so I'm entitled to miracles. I'm inherently deserving of a phenomenal sense of joy, peace, strength of mind, no guilt, no fear, no doubt, no remorse. I am inherently deserving of this. Inherently is like, permanently, essentially, a characteristic way from God to me, from God to everyone, in terms of God's extension, great ideas to be applied, to be lived. I see there in 4:3, remind yourself also that miracles are never taken from one and given to another. So you've got that whole idea in this book that every moment to moment, no one loses. Like whatever I think, say, or do, everyone experiences phenomenal joy, peace, strength, no guilt, no doubt, no fear, etc., etc. Everyone at all times. So in other words, every thought, word, and action has to bring that. Every thought, word, and action has to bring the reality of no one loses ever. So, I have to think about these things. I mean, as far as what I say, what I do, I mean, I suppose part of that idea is being vigilant for God and his kingdom. And also, well, we're going to go for more about the laws of God. I don't necessarily want to go for that necessarily at the moment, but it's in here. Again, it's talking about the laws of God. And I see here, I like 5:2. You have asked for the salvation of the world and for your own. So if I can live up to these profound ideas and find perfect peace and perfect joy in myself and nothing opposing that ever, if I can find that for myself fully, Jesus-like God consciousness, if I can do it, then I'm asking for salvation of the world and for my own. In that moment, I'm hopefully trying to bring that to absolutely every human being alive, would be the idea. Go ahead, Megan.
Thank you. Thank you, Rich.
Thank you, Rich. I wanted to speak to Ruth, what Ruth was talking about, which is I took Digit to the vet, and the vet said that she's got chronic kidney disease. And I spent about a week just really floored, saying, no, you can't die. I was just so overcome. And then I did a bunch of work looking online to figure out what kidney disease did. And then I was reminded of that phrase from the movie, smile in your liver. And it brought me back to the course. I was like going, I'm going to smile in my kidneys, because Digit is an extension of me. We are both the Christ. I'm the Christ, she is the Christ. And so when I stopped believing in the illusions and in the magic, I started realizing there are so much I can do for her that has nothing to do with medications or thinking that she's going to die or thinking that our relationship has changed at all. That I went back to the miracle mindedness of, like, I'm going to feed her good food. I'm going to take care of her just as well as I would if she did not have this diagnosis. And also, I'm not going to insist that anything change. I'm just going to keep changing my perspective so that I can have her enjoy me as much as possible, and I enjoy her as much as possible, because I don't know what this diagnosis means. I don't know if it's serious, not serious. There will be no time in my life I will ever know exactly what that diagnosis means from the vet. I don't even think the vet knows what exactly it means for my dog. So I think the idea was, first I was very fearful and afraid, and I got all in my ego, and I thought, oh my God, I got to do stuff. I need people to pray for me, pray for Digit. And I thought, I can pray for Digit. I can do that. Digit, I do not need to treat her differently. I treat her well. I'll just keep treating her well. And so I think in that way with Ruth, I'm just there with you, which is I'm just going to accept the miracle and accept the grace on Digit's behalf. She can't speak words, but she definitely does doggy, and she does it really well. So thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you, Megan. We got a lot of animal lovers here in this group. Bill.
Oh, you're muted, Bill.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're muted.
Okay, I'm feeling really inspired here to read number 2 right now, if that's okay.
Oh, sure. Go right ahead.
Your claim to miracles does not lie within your illusions about yourself. Whatever it is you think or believe yourself is, you're hallucinating. It does not depend on any magical powers you have ascribed to yourself, nor on any of the rituals you have devised. It is inherent in the truth of what you are. It is implicit in what God, our Father, is. It was ensured in your creation and guaranteed by the laws of God. Bob, inspired by Rich. Thank you.
Oh, thanks.
And I really felt that. I just like seeing myself reading it as whoever Megan was talking last. And it was like, wow, I got to share this. I hope I can. And exactly the way it was coming through me. And I did. And I'm happy that it was recorded. And now we can just replay that over and over and over every night, every day until we get it done.
Thanks,
Right,
Bill.
Rich? Done then. Then it's done if we do all that. Yes.
Okay, so let's hear from Doreen.
Let's unmute here and lower my hand. There we go. I really enjoyed everything that was said about the magic that we have in our lives. And especially supplements and vitamins. Maggie, I really liked what you were telling everybody. I stopped using supplements and vitamins a couple of years ago. And what I noticed is I always needed lots and lots of sleep. But after I started applying A Course in Miracles and stopped with vitamins and supplements, I have so much more energy. I need far less sleep than I ever needed. And I don't think that's coincidence.
Mhm, mhm.
Pure coincidence.
Thank you, Doreen. Rich.
All right, I heard something about one of the miracles of Jesus in the Bible, and I'm looking at paragraph 1 there. You will receive miracles because of what God is. So I just wanted to say, I mean, for me, I mean, ACIM doesn't get into it much, but you know, there's a lot of books about the historical Jesus, and I believe very much in the historical Jesus in terms of his enlightenment, his God consciousness. And I absolutely believe that he attained everything ACIM is talking about in terms of phenomenal state of peace and joy and grace and goodness, and none of those negative emotions, no guilt, doubt, fear, shame, remorse. I mean, the man was filled with vitality and exuberance and calmness and strength and stillness and silence and goodness and all that and nothing else. So he did actually do the physical miracles that are mentioned in the Bible. There are other books that talk about the subject, so certainly the Bible is not completely accurate. However, for that one miracle about it's kind of a different miracle where the woman's having some kind of like blood, whatever, something is going on in terms of her brain or whatever's going on. Something is going on, whatever it's called. But she thought to herself, if I just touch the hem of his garment, I will be healed. And so she did. She touched the hem of his garment. And in what I read, Jesus turned to her and said, similar to what was already said by someone else, that your faith has made you whole. Go your way in peace, something like that. So it's just the whole idea that everyone at all times is simply trying to do the will of God. If that, you know, understanding that truth that only the will of God exists. You know, for me, the first person of the Trinity, you know, in this book, he's called the prime creator who created his co-creators. But, you know, for me, you know, the first person of the Trinity is God himself, personal being who knows of himself. And, you know, the only goal in life is to do the will of God for every son of God, which is absolutely everyone except God himself. So Jesus did do that particular miracle, and he said what he said about it. And, you know, and Jesus did do other things that were great for this world.
Yes, yes. Thank you, Rich. Good point. Megan.
I wanted to read paragraph 3 because I feel called.
What?
I wanted to read 3 if that was okay.
Oh yeah, go ahead, and that will probably take us close to the our closing prayer. Go ahead. Discuss that.
Today we will claim the miracles which are your right, since they belong to you. You have been promised full release from the world you made. You have been assured the kingdom of God is within you and can never be lost. We ask no more than what belongs to us in truth. Today, however, we will also make sure that we will not content ourselves with less. I just was reading that while people were reading, and I thought, we will make sure that we will not content ourselves with less. And I remember Eileen saying that that sometimes not feeling worthy. And I like to remind myself, don't be content with less when you are promised so much. Thanks.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
beautiful.
Good point, Megan. And I just want to say, Lizette, you at one point had your hand raised and then you took it down. Was there something you wanted to add?
Well, no, not especially. I was impressed by the conversation we had, we all together. And I will thank you all. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Yeah,
I love these sessions with you guys.
Me too.
Okay. Okay, Rich, can you be real quick? Because we're real close to the closing prayer.
I mean, I would go for another one here on comment on 3. I mean, every paragraph is interesting. 3 says 3:2, you have been promised full release from the world you made. So for me in ACIM ideas, that simply means again, and I don't suppose it can be said often enough, that living in Jesus or Buddha, real enlightenment, phenomenal sense of peace, joy, none of those negative emotions like guilt, doubt, shame, remorse, the full release from the ego mentality and living in nothing but the God mentality of, exuberance, of strength of mind, kindness, humility, etc., with that phenomenal sense of peace and joy as a human being walking the earth plane.
Thank you, Rich. That was great. Okay, we are close to the top of the hour, and I would like to read something to you all. Christ's vision is the holy ground in which the lilies of forgiveness set their roots. I love that. This is their home. They can be brought from here back to the world, but they can never grow in its unnourishing and shallow soil. They need the light and warmth and kindly care Christ's charity provides. They need the love with which he looks on them, and they become his messengers who give as they have received, or as they received. I just love that. Take from his storehouse that its treasures may increase. His lilies do not leave their home when they are carried back into the world. Their roots remain. They do not leave their source, but carry its beneficence with them and turn the world into a garden like the one they came from, and to which they go again with added fragrance. Now they are twice blessed. The messages they brought from Christ have been delivered and returned to them, and they return them gladly unto him. So I appreciate you all being here today, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of the week. We'll be thinking of you all.
Stop recording.
Bye-bye. And I'm going to stop recording. Oh, it's here. Right there. Okay.
Stop recording on the left.